Good morning. I picked a book for us today that's one of my favorites, and it's by an author that we read before this year that we really enjoyed. If you can remember back to our 100th day of school, we read a story about the wolf who wanted to cook the chicken for soup. Do you remember? And before he ate her, he decided to fatten her up. Do you remember? And he made 100 pancakes. What else was it? Can you remember? 100 donuts, 100-pound cake. Okay, well, that story was really funny. That story was called The Wolf's Chicken Stew, and it was by Keiko Kasza. So the author who wrote the book was Keiko Kasza. Today we have a story by the same author. Here's the author's name, Keiko Kasza. Keiko Kasza thought this story up in his brain and then wrote the words. So he is the author. And then Keiko Kasza drew the pictures. So that means Keiko Kasza is the illustrator. That's right. Our books this week have all been by one author and illustrator. So it's been kind of interesting. This book has a title. It's called A Mother for Choco. A Mother for Choco by Keiko Kasza. Now, who do you think this is? That must be Choco. Choco is our main character. Can you say character? A character is who is in the story. Oh, yep. This must be our main character, Choco. My book on the back cover asks a question. Here's the question. It says, who will be Choco's mother? So let's read to find out. A Mother for Choco. There's my title. What do we call this page? The title page. You're right. All right, let's begin. Choco was a little bird who lived all alone. He wished he had a mother, but who could his mother be? One day, he set out to find her. First, Choco met Mrs. Giraffe. "Oh, Mrs. Giraffe," he cried, "you're yellow just like me. Are you my mother?" "I'm sorry," sighed Mrs. Giraffe, "but I don't have wings like you." Next, Choco met Mrs. Penguin. "Oh, Mrs. Penguin," he cried, "you have wings just like me. Are you my mother?" "I'm sorry," said Mrs. Penguin, "but I don't have big round cheeks like you." So, the penguin is not his mother. The giraffe is not his mother. Let's see what happens next. Then Choco met Mrs. Walrus. "Oh, Mrs. Walrus," he cried, "you have big round cheeks just like me. Are you my mother?" "Now look," grumped Mrs. Walrus, "I don't have striped feet like you. So how could I be your mother? Don't bother me." No matter where Choco went and where he searched, he couldn't find a mother who looked just like him. Poor Choco. How is our main character feeling? Very sad. Can you make a sad face? He's sad. He's disappointed. When Choco saw Mrs. Bear picking apples, he knew she couldn't be his mother. Mrs. Bear did not look like him at all. Choco was so sad he started to cry. "Mommy, mommy. I need a mommy. Mrs. Bear came running to see what was the matter. As she listened to Choco's story, she sighed. Oh dear, if you had a mommy, what would she do? Oh, I'm sure she would hold me, sobbed Choco. Like this, said Mrs. Bear, and she held Choco very tight. Yes, and I'm sure she would kiss me, said Choco. Like this, said Mrs. Bear, and she lifted Choco and gave him a big kiss. Mwah. Yes, and I'm sure she would sing and dance to cheer me up, said Choco. Like this, said Mrs. Bear. And they sang and danced together. When they stopped to rest, Mrs. Bear turned to Choco and said, Choco, maybe I could be your mother. You? Choco cried. But you aren't yellow, and you don't have wings or big round cheeks or striped feet like me. My goodness, said Mrs. Bear, that would make me look very funny. Choco thought it was funny too. Can you see? This is Miss Bear with big cheeks and wings and striped feet. Well, said Mrs. Bear, my other children are waiting for me at home. Why don't you join us for some apple pie, Choco? Apple pie sounded wonderful to Choco, so off they went. When they arrived, Mrs. Bear's other children rushed out to greet her. Choco, said Mrs. Bear, meet Hippie and Allie and Piggy. See? I am their mother too. Boys and girls. Do they look like Mrs. Bear? Look at her children. She has Hippie, Allie, and Piggy. Do you see their mailbox? It shows their family. The sweet smell of apple pie and the sound of laughter soon filled Mrs. Bear's home. You see everyone playing, and look at Mrs. Bear. She's so happy. After their delicious treat, Mrs. Bear gave all her children a big, warm bear hug. And Choco was very happy that his new mommy looked just the way she did. The end. So, they were a family, even though they didn't look alike. Our story, our main character had a problem. What was the problem? That's right. Choco couldn't find his mommy. By the end of the story, did Choco find his mommy? No, but he found a mommy, so his problem was solved. Did you like that story? I think it's a good one. Okay, keep practicing your letters at home and try to write a little bit. Get out some paper and pencil or crayons and practice writing and drawing pictures. Okay, bye-bye.